In this video, we're going to take this student property, do a loft conversion, a kitchen, a floor, some external insulation, some internal insulation. Normally that would take us 6 months. We're going to do it in 4 weeks. Let's go. Live. As you can probably hear in the background, the boys are already into it. But here's a bit of an overview of how we're going to do this. 4 weeks is what we've got. The number 4 seems to be pretty prevalent through this, so we're going to divide into 4 teams. Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, and Team 4. Those guys are going to split up all around the building in order to do a really big list of tasks. It is a lot of work and normally would allow between 5 and 6 months. We're going to do this in 4 weeks. Let's go downstairs, see what the boys are up to.
To say that you've read that folder.
On every project, there's a whole bunch of detail. What we like to do is start off, get everyone together and run through as much of that detail as possible, set the tone of what needs to happen. So now that that's all done, let's cut the boys loose. They're absolutely gagging to get into all of this stuff. It's going to be an epic journey. Thanks for coming along with us. I hope you enjoy it. We're really excited. Let's go. Jaden!
He's gone.
Where's he gone?
I don't know. Vanished.
He's done a Josh.
Whoa.
We've got to start the prep for the steel. How we do that is we make a cut down the wall so that we can get rid of those bricks on the right hand side. This steel is there for 2 reasons. Number 1, it's got to do some supporting. Number 2, it's just going to look better. The client wanted this hallway opened up. This is going to do that. The area that Josh and Jaden are working in is here, and they've got to put a steel in something like that. Now there's 2 steels going in. That's steel number 1. From there, the guys can build a timber post up underneath this, which you'll see later. And then we have something called a ridge beam, which is going to go all the way across like that. That's the big one that we pick up and carry all the way over in the house, but you haven't seen that yet, so there's a wee sneak treat into it. Anyway, back to it. See ya! So while Team 3 are downstairs doing that, Team 2 are upstairs and they've started stripping the plasterboard out of the existing loft so that we can get ready to put the ridge beam in. This process involves having our mates at the electricians come in, remove all the lights, make it all safe, because the last thing you want to be doing is actually pulling this stuff down and get zapped. It hurts. Once we've stripped all the linings off, it's now time for us to see what we're actually playing with. Now, when we plan these jobs, no one actually knows. No one knows exactly how it's going to be built. We presume it's going to be done a particular way. As soon as we can get all the linings off, we can actually see what we're playing with. Now, interestingly, the wall of this, the steel's going to sit on, was not perfectly in the middle of the building. So now we're thinking on our feet and there's lots of chatting, looking, measuring. Doesn't look like much is going on, but it's really important to get this bit right. One thing we've learned is that no matter how many times you plan something, it'll probably change 5 times and then go back to the way you were originally going to do it. We need to work out how we're going to get the steel in. We initially thought that we were going to have to slide it in between the 2 Veluxes and then try and rotate it in the building. Now that we've got the linings off and we can see what we're playing with, we've actually decided that it's going to be better to carry the steel up on the outside and then lower it down into the building. We're going to leave Team 2 up there stripping that, and I think I can hear a truck outside. And as per usual, just when we're starting to do stuff, our first delivery has just turned up. Morning. How are you? So what we've got on here is the start of. It's always funny when Max is following us around with a camera and the delivery drivers see the camera, wait for the moment where he turns and runs. Oh God, it's these guys again. The new dormer. Now we're gonna take the whole dormer down in order to get the steels in, and there's loads of stuff that needs to happen, but without this, we can't do anything. So thanks a lot, Higher Base, because apparently Higher Base do timber now. Cheers, great, love your work. Let's go and have a look at what Mark and Guy, AKA Team 1, have been up to outside.
Hi guys, so I've got me and Mark up here. We're first task is get that chimney down so we can fit some timbers up and get it all down to that skip for today. So next thing we're going to do is strip this whole roof, get it down to the timbers and then cover it up with some tarp.
So before we can get on to stripping the roof, Guy, let's get this chimney breast down. As part of this build, it's got to go all the way below the ridge line. What that will then let us do is take the final measurement for the steel, and the guys over at Projects who do all of our steel fabrication work, they're ready and waiting to cut this big bit of metal to length so that we can go and pick it up, and then that helps speed the whole process up and get that steel where it needs to live for the rest of its life. The boys have sent the measurements over to Projects who do all of our steel fabrication work, and we're going on a little drive to go and pick them up. So we've got the trailer on, drive through town, hopefully traffic's not too bad. In the meantime, the boys are cracking on. The chimney breast is coming down, we've got the chute on the scaffold now, so you can go and have a look at what they've been up to. See you in a bit.
Meanwhile.
Oh, it's nice when you've got good friends.
Who's that? Just a friend.
I said it's nice when you've got good friends.
Oh, friend! 20 minutes later.
So with the steels on site, it's time for us to start making some sparks.
Steels.
We ordered the small steel too big. We did that on purpose because we weren't sure exactly how long it needed to be. So we thought, let's get it big, then we can cut it down on site. And luckily for us, we've got a Josh. He has got his earmuffs on, he's got his eye protection on, and he is ready to go. Or so we thought.
I literally feel it warming my balls up. I hate using those blades. Yeah, when they start bouncing and that, and you can see the blade wobbling, you're like...
I guess that's why you wear safety glasses, eh?
Baby.
That bit going in the skip.
Huh?
That bit going in the skip.
Either that or you can take it home, it's up to you.
So there's team 3 downstairs doing their bit. Let's jump back into team 2 and what Sammy and Callum have been doing on the top floor. Now that we've decided that we're going to carry the steel up and over and lower it down, it means Sammy and Callum have to cut us a slot to lower the steel down into. Then obviously we need the posts in order to support the steel. Because we're cutting the section out of the ridge, we need to kind of build some temporary supports to hold the rest of the rafters. Now some of these are coming out, but some of these are staying in, so we're just double bracing them to make sure.
So we've got all the slates stripped off. Well, nearly all the slates stripped off. We're going to strip this, get this batten off. A lot of lead there.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, mate. And we're just about to cut these rafters off and then get a steel in.
The thought process that's going on in these conversations is around the location of the wall underneath. Now, we thought it was going to be directly under the ridge because that's what the plan said. It's not. It's about 200 mils off center of the ridge. So we're trying to come up with a solution now how we can still meet the structurally engineer's calculations, but having the steel slightly offset against what is center of the house. The construction of the roof at the moment allows that to happen, but when we put the steel in, we're changing the structural component of it. So there's lots of conversation and thought about how we can get these posts connected and how we can keep the steel exactly where it needs to be. The challenge here is also, we've got a whole bunch of wood in the way. There's half a roof which is in the way of where we need to be. So Sammy and I are having a conversation here about what the best way of doing this, A, for safety, for efficiency. Meanwhile, Josh and Jaden downstairs are still putting in our steel. One of the challenges the guys have had here is how much this steel cantilevers over into the wall of the room next door. Now it's about 350, 400 mils. So that's why this steel is not simply just lifting up and slotting in. It is more difficult than what the guys are making it look like. Bit of fettling, a bit of finoodling, a bit of finagling, and then it finally ends up going in, and then we can get it supported, get it mucked in, and then start on the top. Now Josh and Jaden have put that steel in, we can now focus our attention on the post, which is going to support the ridge beam. This needs to be a complete connection in order to make sure that we meet the structural engineer's requirement. We use something called a cripple stud, which is 3 bits of timber which is glued and bolted together. We need all of the bottom of that timber stud, aka post, to be connected to the steel. Now at the moment there's already a timber structure in place which doesn't allow us to do this. So we have to cut some packers which are going to sit between the gaps of where the new steel meet the bottom of our cripple post. So with all the carnage and thinking and posts and steels going on upstairs, now we can get Michael downstairs. He's going to start beavering away at chipping off all of the render. Now the reason why we need to do this is because we're bringing the insulation properties of this home from 1920 to 2020. There's going to have a whole retrofit system go into this front elevation, and this is the preparation for it. You'll see more of that as we move further down the episodes. So we're halfway through day one. I say halfway, it's 3 o'clock. The boys are starting to show the signs that they're getting a little bit tired. But it's going really well, so we'll keep going. See you in a bit. Right, Pete, how's that winch going? Sorry Max, I'm gonna follow you around. Hey Pete, how's that winch going? How's that winch going?
The winch?
Yeah.
Going up on here.
Oh yeah, I can see an imaginary run. Would you like to know where it is?
Yeah, I've got it here.
It's time to get the steel up. This is a really long, awkward, heavy piece of metal, and we've got to try and get it 8 meters in the air. We've chosen, as per normal, to use a winch. You lasso the steel up. It's the safest, easiest, cleanest way of doing it. Once it's all tied on, it's a simple case of pushing the button and the steel ends up coming up. That's when the fun starts. As long as my fat bum stays on at this end, it ain't going nowhere. As long as that batten that it's sitting on doesn't break.
How many times have you done this?
I like the winch. Yeah, I quite like the winch. Makes life so much easier.
We're working in town, we're doing steels.
Yeah.
That sort of size.
Yeah.
Probably about 8-9 meters long.
As long as you just keep weight on it, it's just keeping weight on it. Right, if you boys want to grab that end, we want to go right where you are, Max.
Right, let's get in there.
So if you want a steel coming for your face. Right, you ready? So you're going backwards, Pete, yeah? Right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Makes me look real strong because they've got all the weight. Just get it set up. Right, go backwards, boys. Yep, that's it. Right, 1, 2, 3, to me. Stop. Come on, boys. You right? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bingo!
Come back to us a little bit.
Nice and flat.
Yeah.
And as worst case scenario, we can get us in the dry. Just stack those 6x2s up on top of each other and that'll end up somewhere up here.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your phone?
Oh yeah, does that. Well done, boys. That's the hardest bit of the whole thing done. The heavy lifting's done. Steel's in, great job, big sigh of relief. It's time to build these posts and get them in the right position. So, like we spoke about before, 3 bits of timber, glued, nailed, and bolted together, and then Sammy can get the SDS out and fix one of them into the chimney breast, and then the other end into the timber wall, and we've got our structure ready to support this forever.
Right, so we've got felt and batten off, all ready to tarp it up and get it in the dry. That's the end of day one. Tomorrow, fitting in the steel properly. We are felt and battening it, scatter battening it, ready for the tilers to come here and put the tiles on.
If you've enjoyed this video so far, give us a like, give us a subscribe, thumbs up, let's go that way. Welcome to day 2. Yesterday was absolutely manic. Today's gonna be exactly the same. Like Guy said, we're going straight onto the steel. Oh, sorry. And getting hit by a bike. See ya! Right, so job numero uno for the day. Let's get these rafters gone. That's going to give us a space to do exactly what we want, and then we can start getting on with some actual building work. Gosh, it looks so much better with no bits of wood in the way. Look at that, we've made a huge skylight. With the rafters out of the way, it's time to start looking at the steel. We need to put 4 layers of 6x2 timber, or 145x47 in new money, on top of the steel to build a framework for the 150mm insulation to sit on once we've built the roof. So this is obviously where most of the area is happening. That elevation's staying. The boys are going to get onto the dormer, and now we're getting set up for a little challenge. We've got a couple of beams that we've got to do. We've got to finish off the top plate to the steel, and then we can have a bit of a race to see who is the fastest carpenter in the southwest. See you in a bit. Because this dormer is built off the party wall, there's a couple of rafters that we need to install on that what's going to be the outside of the dormer walls. So we put them in first because that's going to give us the shape of the roof for the flashings, as we're calling it, on the outside of the walls. Then we can start concentrating on these big beams that need to go from the steel down to the wall plate. Like all of our normal builds, the first step is to get the wall plate on. The boys have plonked a whole bunch of timber in the way so you can't see it, but what we're doing is getting some cuts done in between the old rafters of the house so we can create our nice solid base plate to sit on top of the existing house wall.
Oh, that was a close one.
These are going to be the triple like rafter.
Oh, the rafters,
rafter,
yeah.
Whatever it is. Don't really know what it's called, but yeah, it's a rafter. It's a triple rafter, really.
Triple rafter, but sort of a wall plate as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
To build the walls off. So they're going to come up where we've got the plates marked on the plate underneath, so but there's like a triple here somewhere.
Yeah.
Triple mouths. And then triple here somewhere.
What, and then walls up?
They'll go up, but they will finish lower than the pitch of these, which was hard to get your head around. But it's because they're not actually rafters, they're just dormer walls to come up off. But at first it will look weird. They'll be coming up, finishing here, top of that steel.
Yeah.
But that's because they're not actually for the roof, they're just for the walls.
Here's a clip from the future about what this actually looks like. It's really hard to explain with words. So as you can see, the pitch of the existing roof, the 2 new rafters closest to next door, they're on a different angle than what the one that we've just bolted in, which is the 3 timbers bolted together. The 3 timbers that we've bolted together aren't actually a rafter, they're simply there to support the external cheek of the dormer.
And then just double board it. What? Oh, that's yours. Fitting for it.
That was 20 quid. What
Yeah.
happened?
I don't know.
It just got too old, or it got too hot.
Got too excited, didn't you, bud?
But I don't think mine was silver like that.
Oh, maybe it's come from somewhere else then.
That's like,
Come out the Milwaukee.
No, I put it in the Milwaukee box.
yeah, that's where it lives normally.
Is it? It's not Milwaukee though, is it?
No, it wasn't Milwaukee. I bought this separately.
Oh, was it actually 20 quid?
No, it's 50 quid.
Yeah.
No, it's like a £5 on Amazon.
Right. You need to get home and go on Amazon, bud.
I want one like that in the morning, please, bud.
You got a hammer tacker, Sammy, on you?
Oh, it's got a normal stapler.
I've got an hammer tacker for ages. I ain't seen it.
Is that one any good?
It's alright.
That's alright, so all I've got is petite.
It's alright.
That's one that hand-
Like he'd insulted it.
It's alright.
Here's Team No Tools, borrowing tools again, but what they're doing on this side is rebuilding this little turret. Now the joys and the not so joyful things about old houses is that sometimes you open stuff up and you find stuff you had no idea you were gonna see. All of those timbers were rotted out. Well, not all of them, most of them. So we had to replace the valley boards, we had to rebuild all of the hips, put all the angles in, we're working around cables, we're working around pipes. It really wasn't fun. So we lost Mark and Guy for the day because they were out tuttering around with the front, but here's a few shots of what they've been up to. Back on the other side, the boys have started putting together these beams that are going to support the cheek wall. Here's a bit of an overview about how they've got it done.
Yeah.
You go up. What side are we on?
Oh no.
There's no battery, there's no magnet or locking mechanism on that one.
You told me at the perfect time.
So we've thought about it, we've planned it, we've built the beam. Now it's time for this thing to go. And as you can see, it's not that heavy, 2-man lift. Get the wall plate on end first and then put it right up the top on the steel, and then we can start getting to the point where we can budget around so that we can get the roof nice and square. Sometimes when you build stuff, you haven't thought of everything. We've just uncovered our first real problem on this. We're struggling a little bit for head height.
So it'll come down to like here anyway, past this.
Make up that other one. Just give me 5 minutes. Make up that. Make
Gone
up.
weird there, hasn't it?
So the boys are going to continue on while I'm going to stand there, scratch my head for a bit and see if we can't check building regs, make sure we're all good and what the actual functionality of it is here. Then we can run the corners to make sure that we're not twisted. So the challenge that we've got here is that when we put this in, because of what the engineers spec as far as the thickness of the timber, we're really short on head space. So this is 1.8 here. So I'm not 6 foot tall, and so when we're standing here, this is going to be part of it. Normally what we'd do is we push this hard against the house, and then that's all dormer. And then what that does is it pushes the thing that way and opens up this space between the edge of the door and here. So we normally don't have that problem. But in order for us to be able to slate it and flash it, we have to move this over to get off the party wall, which is what the customer does. So, I mean, whether or not it's my perception of what this actually looks like, whether or not this is going to be a problem, I don't know. But we meet regs just doesn't look great. While I've been doing that, the boys have been continuing on building the other side up. So they're gluing, nailing and bolting the other side beam so that we can get that in, and then we can start to build some cheeks. We've even managed to rope in Max for his debut on camera, and he's absolutely thrilled about it. Hey Max, can you explain to us what you're doing there, please? Beams are in, both sides, that's all nailed down, bolted, glued, ready to go. Let's nip back downstairs, get the winch working again. We need some timber up here to start forming this structure. With the timber up there, it's now time for us to start thinking about these cheeks. Like our normal process, we install our goalposts on the end, make sure they're nice and level and plumb. Once they're up, we can then get a top plate on, which is going to form the angle so that we can cut the uprights underneath it. We've divided into two sides of the roof. So we've got Sammy and Callum on one side, and Josh and Jaden on the other, and I'm giving Josh and Jaden a hand, which probably actually didn't help them. From there, they can have a bit of a race to see who can get their uprights in the fastest. And unfortunately, Josh and Jaden have me giving a hand, which doesn't really help. But you can see Sammy going flat out. He's got all his measurements of where his uprights needs to go. He can now go set up a little cutting station. You can see Cal doing all of his cuts. And then it's a case of cut, check, fit, cut, check, fit. And then all of a sudden, he's got a wall built. So as you can see, Sammy and Callum are giving these two a bit of a whooping. They've got theirs almost done.
Ah, no, someone else got involved in mine and left.
Well, you had Fern, you had 3 people on your team.
Someone put it above and then I levelled it across.
Oh,
and
yeah.
cut it too
So you always got to keep an eye out for sabotage, bye.
Yeah, I reckon you said Peter.
I sent him over to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I messed up. Get back in the office, Matt. Leave the building to people that actually know what they're doing.
Show the camera what you're doing your marking with.
What am I doing my marking with? Look.
Fine tip pen.
Yeah.
It's just like having a fine tip pencil.
Absolutely, it does brilliant. It never needs sharpening. It doesn't write on very much, but that's okay. Anyway, see you in a bit. As much as competition's great, we've got to get this job done for our customer. So once Sammy's finished his side, giving Josh a bit of jip, he now comes over, gives us a hand because she's starting to get a bit late in the day and everyone's getting a little bit tired. So now the cheeks are constructed, we can start working on the big lintel that's going to go right across the front. Now you can do this 2 different ways. What we have chosen to do is run a triple 5x2 or 125 by 47 in new money all the way across. It means that we can position our window anywhere along that wall and it's going to have the lintel above it without us having to change the structure. So win for us. So the reason why we put the lintel in now is to give us something to support some timbers so we can get this thing in the dry for the night. Now it's probably about 7:30 at night. You can see the sun going down in the background. It's lovely. It's been such a great day, but we have to get a covering on it so that if it rains tonight, we're not going to flood the house. Now that we've got somewhere for the tarp to sit on the front, Sammy's just going to bang some temporary lintels on the front. So we've got something to screw some breathable membrane to keep the front elevation. Otherwise, we have built ourselves a massive sail and we can almost guarantee that we'd turn up in the morning and that tarpaulin would not be there. That takes us over to the other side of the roof where these guys have got the rafters in, rebuilt the turret, and now it's time for them to start putting some membrane on. With that on, we can then scatterbat it to hold it in place, use some battens as a bit of a weight to hold the edges down, and that, after a very long day, gets us in the dry for the evening. And that's a wrap. Another day done. It's a really lovely view from out here. But we've made a really expensive tent. Great effort, 2 days, steel in, but we've got it all battened up for the evening. We use tarpaulin instead of plastic. That is going to get us to the morning and it's going to be another lovely day tomorrow. So until then, thanks for sticking to this part of the film. We will see you in the morning. Bye. You excited, Josh?
Long week. Yes.
Oh, thanks for my coffee.
I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd like a Costa. No,
yeah.
As soon as you were coming down the scaffold, I felt bad. I was like, oh, do I hide it? No banana though.
Oh, jeez. Now, we'd always like to think that we get it right all of the time. It's always perfect. In this episode, you guys are about to learn that sometimes that doesn't happen. More on this a little bit later.
Buenos dias, por favor. Hello. Hello, big boy. So we're back.
We are back, baby. We are f***ing back.
All been on it since 7. Well, some of us since 5, and then back for another long day. Yesterday I had a massive one. Getting all the framework for this dormer up, 2-day dormer. So Sammy's about to jump up here and start bringing the roof joist through. I'm about to jump in here, frame out for a window, stud it out, followed by OSB all around, cement board on the cheeks for fireproofing, and yeah, probably another mental day. Catch and flip that.
The last few days have been immense. The boys are getting a bit tired, and that's completely understandable. They've come up with their own way about how we're going to keep things a little bit more interesting, considering we're doing 15-hour days. I'm not sure what the boys have had for breakfast, but they seem to be pretty competitive today.
Me and Sammy are hanging joist hangers, so we're gonna have a little race to see who's the
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
The silver things you can see here are called joist hangers. Funny story, when I first started, I used to think they were called joist, as in the female's name. They're not, they're called joist hangers. They support the rafters. We space them out evenly across the roof at the right width, so they're ready for the sheet of ply to go on the roof.
Oh, Callum, you're losing me.
We do another 12-hour day, Callum might get that hanger in.
One injury, but he's still going.
Wow, he hit his bum as well. That's the thing, you go too fast, you start smashing your body up.
What Sammy's working out here is what the party wall looks like. Now we're thinking 3 steps ahead. We're trying to get it set up so that when Lee Marks comes in, he's our flat roofer, he's got something to fix his trims on the edge to. So we've got to make sure that we're thinking about what the other trades are going to be doing later on in the week.
You're going to have, if that's like the corner, you're going to have ply fireboard there.
Whilst we're figuring that out upstairs, Mark and Guy are down in the kitchen because they're about to start taking that out. The plumbing in the kitchen has to come out in order for the units to come out. Mark really loves plumbing.
How's it going? Really, really, really well. What we're doing here is remodeling the kitchen.
No sledgehammer yet, then.
It's finished.
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
You've got this man at the wrong time.
Are you angry at the moment?
This is Mr. Ag.
Should we annoy you a little bit more?
There you go.
As you can see by the look on his face, he's not best pleased about it, but it's got to happen, so we've got to get it done. Once they're all capped, we can take the kitchen out. The last thing we want is a whole bunch of water where it's not meant to be. Smooth guy, real smooth. It was all going so well until it wasn't.
Where it is.
So we had this wall built here and everything was going really well. It's just the problem was that last night really late we'd only put like 1 or 2 nails up in that corner there. So because we only put 1 or 2 nails in, as the boys were installing the uprights, they were hitting it tight so that it's tight, but what it was doing, it was pushing this end up. So we ended up with like a 10mm gap underneath this, which we can't have. So we've taken it all down again. Some of it we'll be able to reuse, some of it we'll have to recut. But as you can see, the boys have done a really good job in nailing it. And now we're gonna try and get all the nails out, and the nails are putting up a bit of a fight. Set up the drop saw and do it again. So all going smoothly until we worked late at night and then we didn't quite get it right, so we'll have to start again. Anyway, set it back. The challenge of that problem is we want to get a roof on, so Sammy and Callum are like chomping at the bit to get those rafters in, but they can't until we've built the wall under. So we're doing everything we can while we wait for Josh and Jaden to rebuild that front wall. We've got one in, we're just waiting for a little bit, bring the timber up, get it all ready to go, and then as soon as that front wall is braced, we can hook into that. As soon as those uprights are in, watch how quickly this roof goes together. There's lots of little jobs, and because we're doing it so quickly, means we need bricks, sand, cement, where normally this would be done over a 7-day period. We're trying to do it in 7 hours. So yeah, hey ho, is what it is. And Josh is feeling good, aren't you, Josh?
I'm with you, bud. Much better view yesterday when those 3 bags of Haribo downstairs.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that what it is? Because you guys ate 3 kilos of Haribo in 2 days.
I just had a 2-day sugar comeback.
That's not exaggerated. The boys ate 3 kilograms of sweets in 2 days. Sugar's important. It's important to have a bit of a giggle every now and then. Now, we all know a builder, and often we don't use the best language. I've got a couple of sons, they're beautiful, I love them to pieces, but they love being around Josh because he swears a lot and they fine him for it. Oh, hello.
Hello.
You less grumpy now?
I'm fine. I get overwhelmed.
Wonder how many beeps. We should do like a beep counter.
They gave me a swear jar at didn't they? They left it on the table. Josh's swear jar already at 350 quid.
But can you imagine, if you had a swear jar with Levi like you do,
Yeah, he's on it.
he'd watch that thing 100 times and be like, Josh, you owe me £78,000.
I can say it and he's not even in the room and he comes flying in.
Josh, you owe me £1!
Ralph's there as well. Levi goes, yeah, it's £1, you just swore. He goes, every time someone swears, they give me £1. Ralph goes, he does.
Right, anyway, back on track. It is hot up here, and lucky for us, we've got a Sammy. Sammy has the entire Milwaukee catalogue, and Callum has found a lovely way to use it.
I don't know, it's slightly high. But
With all that happening up top in the heat, Mark and Guy are chilling out down in the kitchen. They've found a wee game to keep them entertained.
See if you can get that out before me and Dee can follow this up.
On my own?
Yeah. I've got cabinets and doors.
It's quite ironic that we've been talking about bad language up on the roof in the heat. Here's Mark and Guy in the cold down in the kitchen. Demolition of a kitchen is pretty simple. We always take the cupboard doors off because it's easier, makes the units lighter. Now the challenge you've got with taking a kitchen out is the worktops are normally stuck to tiles. You can either try and pry it up or you can lower the kitchen units down and then it gets it below it. Guy's chosen the prying method, which is often a lot faster. From there, you can either take the screws out of the back or simply get a hammer and destroy it. We really like to recycle our kitchens, but this one didn't get taken on Marketplace, so it's being destroyed and unfortunately going out in the skip. With Guy and Mark finished on the kitchen downstairs and the boys up on the roof getting their bit done, we thought, right, let's take a break, have a breather, it's really hot, drink some water, put some more sun cream on and then we can go again. But, as per usual on a building site, as soon as you want to do something, the delivery turns up. So let's unload that first and then we can go and get some food. On this delivery, we had a bunch of timber which we need. We also had the sheets of ply to go on the roof. Now normally we like to try and use the winch, but unfortunately with these, there's only one way to get them up there. The winch can't really take them. We haven't got a massive crane that can just lower them down where we need them, so the boys have got to guts it out just before lunch, carry them up the stairs, get them to where we need to go, and they'll be there for later.
What are you doing? Documenting our shop to the trip?
Shop to the trip, trip to the shop.
Trip to the shop, shop to the trip. So,
Whole gang.
You definitely threw it on the floor.
At least it doesn't ask me
You know you threw it on the floor, don't you?
All I asked, whose screw gun that was. Whose screw gun's that? And that's what happens. Seldom on a building site, when you have a break, doesn't mean you stop working. All we've done is go into the office, over a popsicle, work out what the next details are so that by the time the boys are finished, they're ready and straight away they've got exactly what the plan is in their head. Plus, Josh loves a popsicle.
The boys are having some lunch, so it's probably a good time for me to come up here and go, right, how are we looking? Oh, yes, I love it when it comes together. We're getting there. So, roof's on, walls built. Again, there's a few things that we need to do to just tidy up stuff, like, you know, we've started cutting that bolt, we've got to cut them all flush. They're needed to brace it all together as per the engineer's instructions, but it's clean enough, it's tidy enough. Here's old Team Milwaukee over here with everything Milwaukee. This is mine, this is the old faithful. I love that girl, she's done some work there.
Everyone loves a DeWalt delivery. Hey DeWalt, we love you.
Process now. The makeup of these walls, because this is a retrofit property, the walls and the ceiling is quite technical. So the architects.
For those of you that are interested, here is a bit of an overview of the Type C timber frame wall makeup. You can see all the different detail. Mark, the architect's been really specific about how he wants it done. So we're building this. So we've got to make sure on site that we've got exactly the right positioning of the timbers and so on and so forth to make sure that when we get to the finish in a few weeks' time, we've done this to the letter of the law.
One thing we haven't covered, and we spoke briefly about it before, is why these are sitting so much lower. So this is the top of the joist, or the rafter if it was on an angle. We've got to build this up for insulation. There's a whole bunch of insulation. There's a deck that sits on there.
I even have pictures of my deck. Check out that deck. I want to send this to my secretary. Barbara always loves to receive my deck pics.
So we're doing, the engineer specified 12 mil, we're stepping that up to 18 mil, and then it'll go up from there. So the insulation will end up sitting roughly up the top of the beam. Everything else is the same. So look, it's taken us a little bit longer than what we would hope for, because that wall took we had to do it twice, but I'd rather have it right now. And we call it hexagon. We did a team building event. We blindfolded the guys. They had to build a hexagon with a rope, and one team did it right the first time, and one team took like 3 or 4 times.
What is going on?
Oh yeah? Yes, it's just a time on the circle, I see.
But the moral of the story is, if it's not right, make it right, and then the flow-on effect from that will be way better. It's always nice to get it done the first time, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's just the way it goes. See you guys in a bit.
Back from lunch, trim the rafters, get this roof deck on. It's getting late in the day, we've got a lot to do. Let's change gears, make this happen. As per the drawings, the roof makeup is quite simple. We've got a line of battens on the top, then our fairing strips can go on, then we can start laying our 18 mil ply that we've stepped up. Once that's on, we're ready for some temporary waterproofing. We're also...
No, that's a bad idea.
How the f do we get outside? How do we get outside? Definitely.
It's been really interesting observing the different zones within the same property and how the pressure levels are completely different.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are we?
No, we're alright.
Oh, good.
No, this is just...
What's going on there?
Yeah, that's your point.
We're applying a roof out, and the old house wasn't square, so we've had to run to make it look good on the outside. So the roof's not square, and yeah, square, it's not square. I wanted to get the ply down so that we can get the brickwork done, so that when the roof is turned up tomorrow we can do that. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. It is 4:30 and we've got a long night ahead of us, so speak to you in a bit, bye.
Because it's getting late in the day, need to get this ply down. The reason why we need to get the ply down is so we can do this little bit of brickwork. Sammy's done a great job of getting the ply down. Now it's a case of cutting some bricks because it's really awkward, doing an overhand layer of the brickwork. That'll help us out later on down the line, and then we can start building our tent. In the meantime, out of shot, you can almost see the guy starting to put the fireboard on the outside of the cheeks. That's also happening on the other side, which you definitely can't see on this shot. Once all that's done, then we can get our tent built, then we can go home and get some well-earned rest.
Right, so we're just about to start the process of getting us in the dry. So we've rebuilt this brickwork down here so that we've got something to render against once the roof is on. And Sammy's done a wicked job on getting all this done. It looks like a little bit of a swimming pool at the moment, but that's all right. This side is still pretty weather tight from last night, so that's great. That is a really cool van. And this is very shortly, the guys over here have got this OS bead, and then we've got our fireboard on there because this is technically a party wall. You need to have an increased fire protection on the party wall here, so we've got that there. But we're a sheet short, which is really annoying. So we've done that bit, but we need to do this bit. Oh, sorry, you can't see that. We've done the bottom, need to do the top. So no doubt Pete's got that sorted for the morning. So we're gonna get this thing weather tight, and we are, what, 6:30, so hopefully we might actually be out of here at a reasonable time. Hey Josh!
Right, Josh, I'll tell you where they are.
What we've done in 3 days is pretty impressive. We're really proud of it. But it's the end of the day. The boys are pretty knackered. We're in the dry. Jaden's got his mirror Michael Jackson glasses on. Want to see some Michael Jackson dance moves?
Hey, Chardonnay! Want to see some Michael Jackson dance moves?
No one will get what that means.
He did those moves at the Grammys.
It's been a wicked day, thank you so much. If you've managed to make it to the end of day 3, thank you so much for watching. We do really appreciate it. We put loads of energy and effort, and Max does an awesome job. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. It's meant to be baking hot here, and we've got a lot to do. So in the meantime, I am going to leave you to watch the beautiful Exeter sunset, a bit of nighttime, and then another beautiful sunrise. We will see you in the morning. Catch ya. Welcome to day 4. Boys have done great. It's going to be massive. The sun's shining, a little bit windy. Let's get into it. See you later. So first task, let's get this covering off. Now, I might sound like I'm full of energy, but I tell you what, the boys on site have been working really hard and really long. Most of us at that point were sick. Sammy's not particularly enthused about filming today.
Can he do one of these for what he's doing?
Well, nah. Good morning, my little treacles. Right, just finishing off this flat roof. Putting a 6x2 upstand right around the border. Once we got this all in, that'll get cut back. And then we're gonna plant some fake joists on the outside for the fascia detail.
While Sammy's cracking on with the roof upstairs, let's look into the future, and here's some ugly bugger with an explanation of what the boys are doing in the eaves. Now, the eaves detail is probably the most difficult and complicated on this particular part of it because the space is so tight, and Max learned that firsthand, but you're going to see that later on. First things first, front eaves insulation. This is the introduction to retrofit. What we're doing here is we're putting modern insulation properties and airtight membranes into an old house. So here's a little bit of a detail about it. Here are the rafters which run down from the ridge towards the roadside. In here, we're going to install some PIR insulation boards. Now what that does is that prevents the cold from outside, in red pen, from the warm of the inside. Once we've got the insulation in, we can then swap pen color. We're going to install an airtight membrane across the bottom of those rafters. We'll then install some battens on here. That there allows us to install plasterboard and then plaster it. That gives us our finish. What the little X's mean on the end of the timber, just for reference, imagine you're looking down the piece of timber, there's a little X right on the end. That's what they mean. So that's the detail if you are looking at the roof. Obviously this is all going to be filled with insulation across here, and that runs the length. of the roof. So here's all the serious talk about what the architect's drawn. Here's the boys with some not so serious talk. Sometimes it's like working with a bunch of 16-year-old boys. They don't see each other for 8 hours and they get all giddy in the morning because all their mates are back.
In your crack. What? Don't break it. It costs lots of money.
And today, we have had a surprise visitor all the way from Australia, mate.
Crocodile Dundee.
Matt brought me this.
Did he? Does Matt know he brought you this?
No. That was weird. Where's my skill tool?
Oh, you didn't!
So, start of the process for us is we've got to get the floor cut out so we can get access underneath. Now this is in the loft. Underneath us is an area which is already exposed because we've had to do a whole bunch of work in that bedroom. We don't have access here, so what Jaden, Mark and Guy are doing is cutting through this piece of ply in order to be able to get us to the exposed rafters underneath. So with the floor cut out upstairs, we've now got the opportunity to put the membrane in underneath. It's really weird because you're working on both floors in order to create one membrane in between them. It's way easier from below than what it is up top because you haven't got all those rafters in the way. The membrane is a specific airtight membrane which has to be joined and taped to make sure that no air can penetrate between the roof, the windows, and everything in the middle. Whilst Guy and Mark are doing that, Josh is starting on the insulation on the left-hand side of the cheek, because that's just another job we can tick off the list. Let's jump back up top and have a look at what the guys have been doing on the front elevation next door to Sam, who's doing the flat roof. So here's some detail on the front elevation. So the front elevation is your typical sort of man-made slate roof here in the UK. What we've done is we've put the membrane down. You would have seen that in the previous episodes. And then we did something called scatter batter. Now the process from here is we actually take these little bits of batten off. From there, we can actually work out what the bond of the tiles are and actually then go through and install the battens to the spacing of exactly what we need for the slates to be able to be nailed into. Now, before we do that, like I said, we've already membraned it. Now, the membrane is a secondary layer of protection. Back in the day, we never actually used to put them in the houses in England. They just used to put the slate straight on top of it. But a secondary layer is a safety net. So the safety net's on, we then rip the batten off, put it where we need it to, and then that is us getting tiles on and making it look all pretty. Let's go back and see what the guys have been up to. Next step on the flat roof, now that Sammy and Callum have put up the border for our insulation, is to get this green membrane down. Now that's a secondary layer of defense. It stops any type of moisture. If it were to penetrate through the Sanafill, it's going to stop it going any further. It's amazing how when you've been working for long hours in the heat, short amount of sleep, no recovery, long days, Saturdays, how the tiniest little simple thing can really become so difficult.
Remember your pressure points.
Hexagon.
Woosah.
21,000.
Oh mate, you put that on YouTube, here will You won't do it.
You want a bit,
You won't do it.
One of the great things about having loads of lads on site is it means we get to help each other out and it makes things easier. Look, it's been a massive few days. The guys have been working really long hours. It's been stinking hot down in Exeter, which is great, but it does mean that sometimes it makes the most simple tasks very difficult.
And there we have it. Today you saw a roof finished by Crocodile Dundee.
Moving back inside on the next morning. We've got the membrane down. Now it's time for us to firstly pack out the rafters underneath. Now, this is something I haven't spoken about in any of the other footage that you've seen. We had to put 150 mil insulation in between the rafters, but the rafters are only 75 mils. So first job on there was to take another 75 mils and then glue and fix it onto the bottom of the rafters. That is going to create a way more stable platform for us to install our insulation. Here's a really good example of what we mean by a really tight squeeze. Now, I'm not sure how Max managed to get off the camera and into doing this, but thanks a lot, mate. I think you drew the short straw today.
So the side bit,
Here we have Max in his unnatural habitat. He's just taping up some of this membrane.
Like what we spoke about, there are parts of this which are really, really tight, really inaccessible, and Max, I think, may have been set up here. But he got the job done. Thanks, bud. Nice work.
That'll do. That'll do, donkey.
That'll do. This is Max in his unnatural habitat.
Cutting this stuff is really, really messy. So the boys tend to do it in one big chunk, do all your big cuts, and then have a big sort out. Once the sort out's done and we're clean and tidy, we've got rid of all the dust, then we can put the membrane over top of it, and then we can get the batten on ready for plasterboarding. So while the boys are busy buzzing around inside, getting the insulation and the membrane done, if we follow outside, we've got the valley boards in on the roof. We can then put our lead flashing down, and then the boys can finally start laying some tiles. From here, it really does start to take shape. As well as the guys on the front, you can see at the top of this clip, Lee Marks is already up on the dormer and he started installing his trims ready for the sauna fill to be installed. Just as the boys are about to start laying the membrane, they have a shower come through. So quick cover up, time for a quick cup of tea, and then Lee can crack on and get this thing finally in the dry. The process for Lee is slightly different on this one. What Lee's chosen to do on this is to mechanically fix the edge of the sauna fill. The silver strips that you see have screws going through them all the way down through the Celotex into the ply, and then he glues over the top of that. It's just an added security. Once the main sheets are down, Lee can then go through with his heat gun and almost weld the two together. He goes all the way around his trims, all the way down the edges, and as you can see, the rain's just come in. What he's using here is he's actually using the heat gun to dry the batten off where the rain's hit it, so that he can get it primed and then get it glued.
Morning. I don't know whether you can tell from my body language, but I'm not really that keen on being here. This is another one of those jobs. I've had a quick look around. I'm going to try and start gently and first fix the kitchen.
Just to put this all in context, Lewis is an absolute legend, a wonderful, beautiful human being. However, he's come into this house and he's found a whole bunch of stuff wrong. It does make it frustrating. Look, everyone turns up expecting to be doing one thing, and the first thing you do is have to undo a whole bunch of someone else's bad workmanship. When it comes to electrics, it's got to be right. So Lewis has undone all the bad stuff, and then we'll just start again.
How's it all going?
Right.
I mean, it's all right. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No panic moment yet then?
Not yet, no.
So with the Sparkies pulling their hair out down in the kitchen, the boys up top have finally started to get some slates down on the main roof. Some of you may be wondering, why haven't they gone all the way to the edge? It does make it really handy to have a batten ladder for us to be able to climb up and down on. One of the things we spoke about in the previous episodes was we had a concern about the head height between the beam that forms the dormer cheek and the door going into the room. So Sammy started building the stud work. Now the stud work in, it looks way better. Maybe I was being a little bit dramatic about how much head height we were going to lose, but now that it's built, everyone gets to see it.
And that's the end of day 6. Another busy day. If you liked what you've seen, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Day 7.
Day 7, let's go boys.
Day 7 and
Smash.
we're all broken.
Day 7 and people aren't feeling the 13-hour days anymore.
Primary objective for the day is to get all of the cables in so that we can then move on to plasterboarding. This is going to be a really busy area today. We've got to get all of the cables in for the sockets and the lights, and we really need to get on with plasterboarding. So we've got a door lining in, the cables are going in for the lights, the cables are going in for the sockets all around the room. Then the boys can follow each other around, plasterboard on. You can see the white strips that we've put on the bottom of the rafters. We've put them on so that we can get below the lip of the steel, which is protruding below the bottom of the rafters. So cut some plasterboard into strips, fix it onto the bottom of the rafters, and then everything will line through beautifully.
If I jump out this window, scaffolders are coming by any time now, because they need to take this lift down so that we can do this bottom part of the roof. We kind of built the dormer halfway up the roof, but in order to slate that in, flash it in, get it watertight, you got to start from the bottom. And there's additional rafters, there's insulating, there's airtight membrane, so there's a lot of gubbins that's got to happen down in this part of the roof. Main man Pete down here on the SDS, he's taking the render off. He's been cracking on out here. All of that render off, that's for an external insulating system that gets stuck onto that brickwork. I'll jump right up on the roof and we can see what the roofers have been doing on the other side. Got the ridge tiles on. That side of the roof slated. All going well.
It's a nice little morning job for myself this morning. Just about to mix up some PVA, nice thick PVA. To PVA all of these chasers left by the bloody Sparkies, as they like to do that. Obviously, sometimes it's their only way. So I will be PVAing and hardballing and prepping it all to be plastered in the next coming days. Right, so as you can see, all been hardwalled, ready for the plasterers. Beautiful.
So while Cal's been down doing the hardwall, the scaffolds come down on the rear elevation like Sammy was talking about before. Now the boys have decided to mob hand it, get this roof stripped because we've got a bunch of work that needs to happen out here. We're just going to take a step back a second and just run through some detail about what retrofit is. So first step, blue pen airtight membrane is going to sit down in between these 75mm existing rafters of the house. Again, we're looking down the rafters, the little X, that's the end of the rafter. So that goes over top. What the guys are then going to do is next to these little rafters is install some bigger ones. Now the reason why we have to do that is because we need to get 150mm insulation in between these holes here, and we can't do that if there's only 75mm rafters in place. So once they've put the new bits of timber next to it, they can come along and insert into this horrible little detail here the new 150mm PIR insulation. There is a notch going around those little existing rafters, which are really, really hard. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to notch it out. So this ends up being insulation all the way across the top here, all the way in these gaps there. And then what the guys can do is, once they've done that, is get our normal roofing felt, run across the top of it, and then we can start battening off, ready for the tiles.
If only life was that simple. One of the problems we're having with this house is the brickwork. While the guys have been mucking around doing the stuff on the roof, some of the bricks have come loose, and then before you know it, by the time we try and fix them, the more is loose and more is loose and more. Before you know it, we've pulled down most of the wall. So, to the rescue is our little superhero by the name of Howard Bruce, and he's going to fix it and make it all better for us.
Yeah.
We pull off the bricks, clean them all up, and then he can relay all of the old bricks, because the metric bricks of modern times aren't going to work with the imperial bricks of this house. So we're reusing the bricks, mix up some mortar, and then they go in. Thanks, Howard, you're a legend.
So now the insulation's in between our new rafters, it's time for us to put the membrane on. How we like to do it is membrane on, scatter batten it, that holds everything down and it gives us something to climb up. Not everyone does it this way, but this is how we like to do it. One job that Sammy's got to get done next with Jaden is we've got to ping a line in order to get the end of the rafters where we need them to be for our fascia board. So you can either use a chalk line or an ink line, ping the top of it, and then using a boat level, you can level down, which will give you a perfectly level line. You can then install your fascias. Now, we like to use something called poly tops. Now, they come in two different sizes, big and small. We use the big one to hold it in, and the small one just to make it look pretty. We space them out evenly using a set square, and that means that all of your nails that you've just put in will all look the same from the ground. Now, some may say that that's a little bit of overkill, but Sammy's really detailed and he takes a lot of pride in what he does.
We've only got a little bit left. We're just going to get a little bit of fascia up over there, cut these battens off for the roofers so they know where the edge of the roof will be, and then that's it. Then press the button.
Cheers for that, Sam. You are an absolute natural. It's time now for the guys from J Glen Roofing to come in and start this roof. First step is above the fascia vents. Now this is a little black plastic vent that lives above the fascia. They allow the tiles to breathe in between the bottom of the tile and the top of the membrane. That's important to stop condensation because there is hot cold going on underneath it. The over the fascia vents lets airflow underneath the tiles and stops any mold, damp, moisture, any potential from penetrating through. Really important part that you have to give the vents on top of the fascia or your roof can't breathe. Once they're in, we've then got our felt support trays, and roofing names are pretty technical. That supports the felt. It stops the felt from flapping around, and it also stops it from draining down into the gutter in the wrong place. So with that on, we can then trim our membrane back. Now it's time to start looking at the spacings for the battens. Now every single slate is going to be different. Every single tile is going to be different. So the boys have to do this on every single roof they do. You can see them starting at the bottom so they can set their bond, and then they can work up removing our scatter battens once they're happy that they've got their bond right. Once that's all done, then they can start in the bottom corner, and they normally lay out a few rows of the slates in the corner so that they can make sure that they've got their cuts right going down into the gutter, and they've also got their kicks right on the bottom where it meets the fascia. So they normally get one corner, sort of 5 or 6 tiles run in, and then it's a bit like brickwork where you run the corner up and then you can load out the roof and run across. There is something extremely satisfying about watching a roof get put together sped up. Now the guys at Josh Glen make it look easy. It's not as easy as one may think, but these guys do a great job every time. Thanks a lot for your hard work, boys. Appreciate it. So you saw Howard before rebuilding all of those bricks that have fallen out. Now the reason why he's actually here is to block up this door and window that used to, back when the house was a different shape, probably be the external door going into the kitchen, because this utility bit that you can see at the moment used to be outside. Howard's going to do it because there's a really unique little curve at the top from where the old lintel, you know, the old school lintel used to be above the door. Now Howard's really bloody good at what he does and he makes it look easy, but they're really, really hard to make look pretty. The reason why we need it to look pretty is because nothing else is happening on that wall except for a bit of paint. So thanks a lot, Howard. You've done a bloody good job.
Right, me and Jaden have done all our bits up on the roof. We're coming down here now to do a bit of plasterboarding. Go fireboard the ceiling and normal plasterboard the ceiling.
So with Sammy and Jaden plasterboarding almost complete downstairs, let's jump up and have a look at what Cal's been up to. Now poor old Cal got the short end of the stick on this one. When we were taking the roof of our house off, the party wall sustained some damage where the flashing used to sit. So Cal's just going in and making sure that we re-render the party wall and make sure that that looks absolutely perfect, just like the rest of our roof does. So with Cal almost finished up on the roof and the boys almost finished downstairs, let's go and have a catch up with Mark and Guy and see what they've been up to in the loft. So they've got a few little bits of plasterboard that they need to get sorted, then they can have a tidy up because it's time for us to start looking at the insulation on the new dormer. Now we always do the ceilings first, it just makes things easier. If you're ever doing this at home, do the ceiling first. It will make life way easier. It's something that Al taught us ages ago, just board the ceiling. Even before you build your stud walls, board the ceiling. Trust me, it makes a big difference. Now it's time for Mark and Guy to start insulating the internal part of this. Now we've got quite a specific set of instructions that the architect has left for us to follow. This includes some thermal bridged screws. That's going to prevent any cold traveling through the screw into the room. The insulation that's been chosen is a special wood fiber insulation with an OSB glued to it. Now it's got a tongue and groove in it and you'll see Mark and Guy here install it. It cuts with a skill saw or a hand saw if you don't have one. It then slots in together and interlocks. It's screwed in using our thermal bridge screws into our stud work just like normal. And then all of the joins are taped in order to make it airtight. Now some of you may have noticed that below the beam that holds the cheek, there's only stud walls, there's no insulation. That's because next door is internal. So they've already had their loft converted. So that part of the thermal calculation is deemed as being warm, where on the top, obviously that's exposed to the external elements. So there's a whole bunch of rock wool which has been pushed inside the studs before this extra insulation goes on. And that's the reason why there's nothing underneath it. So now that all of the OSB wood chip insulation is on, it's time for us to do something called counterbatten. Now we don't need to use those special thermal screws because they're only going into the OSB, which is on the internal side of the insulation. So we can use just normal screws into that. But the battens are spaced out to receive the plasterboard, and we normally use 400 centers. In some other categories of building, they use 600 centers. We prefer 400, it gives it a much better fixing and it makes the wall feel way more solid. So the boys have spaced all them out. Once that's all done up to the steel, they can then come along, throw some sheets of plasterboard on, and then we're starting to get ready towards the finish.
Morning guys, another little job we've got going on today is down in the front room under the bay window. See these lovely air bricks? They're meant to actually be under the floor, not in the walls, to help the floor breathe. Obviously it's not working at the moment. Before we can fix the walls, we've got to make them go down. So what we use is what we call a little telescopic vent. Get that in the wall so that way the air can then travel down under the floor. Then we can seal up the wall so they don't have any big cold patches behind the wall. Cheers.
One of the reasons why we started doing this project was because this room got really damp. Now we think the reason why that is because on the other side of that window is the footpath, and the footpath is really high. So we're building out that front elevation wall with insulation, and you'll see that a bit later in future episodes because we haven't done it yet. But we need to get some telescopic vents in, as Pete said, and this one here is really radical. Normally they're only just a little bit high, this one is massively high. The whole purpose of them is to get airflow from the front of the house to the back of the house. So on the rear elevation, we've got a whole bunch of vents underneath the floor, and that's to allow air pressure to change on each side of the house as the wind blows, and that sucks or blows air from the front to the back, allowing the timber floor structure to breathe. Really important that it can breathe. Now that the vents are all in the floor, it's time for Cal to come in and put the next step in our retrofit journey on this front elevation in. Now some of the brickwork on this place is not great. We've already had to rebuild loads of it, and this one's no exception. The front elevation here, Cal's come along and patched in using his lime render where there were big deep garks. Now what he's doing is he's putting what they call a parge coat, which is a 5 or 6 mil thick coat on all of the brickwork at the front. A, it helps bond all that brickwork together again, but B, what it's doing is it's giving ourselves a reasonably flat surface for us to be able to push the insulation up against it. Now the reason why we put the parge coat on is because we want to stop air from being trapped between the brickwork and the insulation. Insulation doesn't work when it's got an air barrier in between it, so the parge coat gives us a smooth, flat surface for us to put that onto. While we're talking about the floor in the front, here's Sammy to show you what the floor in the back looks like.
So back at the student house, today's task is this little area in here was their sort of utility room. They had a washing machine over here, they had the fridge here. It's on a slope and it's just a bit of a weird space really. Sort of uphill, step into there. So we're going to build a suspended floor out of 4x2, bring it all out to the same level as this front room. So you come through here, this would be the same level, you'll have all your utilities out here. This doorway, obviously will need to be raised up because our floor is going to be coming up about 300 mil. So yeah, that's today's job for me and Jaden.
Sammy loves a laser. What he's done is he's set his laser up on the wall at the height that he wants the timbers to finish at. That there gives him a datum, as we call it, so that everything is going to be flat and level. He'll check it as he goes along using the old school methods, but that's a great place to start. He can then get his SDS drill out, drill a 6 mil hole, and then use concrete fixings which are designed to go through the timber into the brickwork behind. Now one thing he also likes to do, which is probably not necessary in these points, is to put a layer of DPM or DPC, a damp proof course, in behind each of the bits of timber. Now that there is going to really protect any type of moisture that would be sucked up through the brickwork and from the concrete in the ground up higher into the room. So now that he's got the DPM in, he's have a quick clean up, and then he can think about, right, how are we doing this next step? What are we going to do? Sammy and Jaden have decided here to use joist hangers. The joist hangers are going to nail on using loads of little square nails into the boards that are bolted to the house. That gives us a really strong platform. We can then simply cut the timbers to the right length, slot them down into the joist hangers, and that is going to form our platform for the finished floor to start building up. One of the challenges Sam's having is there's a sauger pipe right in the way. It's always the way. You lay it all out at 400 centres and then you go smack bang in the middle of a pipe. It couldn't be either side of it. It had to be exactly in the right place. That soil pipe takes all of the waste water from the toilets and the bathrooms on the first floor. So he's had to improvise a little bit. He's simply made a trimmer system where we're going to double up timbers on each side of the pipe and run one perpendicular to them. They can then get joist hung later, but for now he's fixed it in using his nail gun, and then poor old Jaden gets a good old forearm workout when he has to come in and bang a whole bunch of joist hangers in. This then creates a really strong, stable platform for us to move forward with our retrofit floor in this particular area. The nails that Jaden's using are most commonly referred to as twisties or twist nails. Instead of being like a straight shank nail, they've kind of got like a torque rotation built into them, and they're really short. They're about 25 mils. Now, in a previous episode, you would have seen Sammy and Callum have a race to try and bang one of these in, and both of them smacked their thumbs.
So we're gonna have a little race to see who's the
The nails are only about 25 mils long and they're really awkward to get in, but it's like a rite of passage. When you're an apprentice on site, you put the joist hanger nails in. Whilst Jaden's doing that, it's time for us to build this door up. Now, because we've brought the floor so much higher, we need to raise the sill height of the door outside. The easiest way to do that is with bricks and mortar or blocks and mortar. We're going to use both. So Sammy's got the blocks on the internal course of the house. He's going to bring them up, and then we're going to use bricks on the external course of the house. And we can't forget to make sure that we keep our vent flow in. So we're also going to put an air brick on the outside. Now, these aren't actually made of bricks these days, they're actually made of plastic. So you can go down to your local builders merchants, buy a little air brick. Now, they're the same size as a common metric brick. So by the time you put your mortar down underneath it, it all levels out across the top. It is worth noting though that bricks in these old houses are a different size. So imperial bricks are slightly bigger. Most commonly these days, bricks are about 100 mils, give or take the molding process. Back in the old days, you can get them, because they were made by hand, you could get them up to like 112 millimeters or 4 inches and a little bit. It's always a challenge when you're building new stuff or using new bricks against old, because none of the coursing runs through. So the boys have had to put bigger muck beds in order to make it work. Air bricks are now in, level it all off like you can see Toby doing, and then we can put a door in. This whole process is all retrofit stuff. It's really awkward because you spend the whole day bent over, but what Mark and Guy and Toby are doing here is draping the membrane in and out and creating like a little bed or a hammock for the insulation to sit down into. It's also taped along the brickwork so that it creates an airtight seal. So what we've got in this situation is we've got the air flowing underneath our membrane in order to make sure that our timber have, the house breathes. All of our timber is going to get dry. It's going to have some lovely airflow underneath it, and then we want to stop that air from getting into the house, and this is the part that does it. It's really difficult to see on shot, but what the boys actually do here is there's a light blue batten which the boys are using to tension the membrane. So you drape the membrane in about where you think it, staple it into the joist, and then you push the batten down and it creates tautness on the bottom. From there, you can nail the batten into the sides. Here comes all the tape. This job really sucks, but the boys are getting pretty good at it now. Once the tape's on, we're officially airtight and we can start thinking about putting some insulation in. The insulation we're using here is a rock wool or a fiber roll. Now this here is probably the easiest install of insulation you can get. Only thing you've got to do is make sure that it's overcut inside your spacings. So when you lay a floor and you've got 400 mil centers, you should have a 354 in between each of the 400s. You want to cut your insulation slightly bigger than that so that it compresses itself against the timbers. Now, no matter how many nails you put in, timber's going to move. So just make sure you allow for that in your insulation installation. Oh, say that 10 times quickly. Now that the insulation installation is complete, here's time to put our next layer of membrane down. Now this one's a lot simpler, but it still needs to be airtight, and especially with all those pipes and everything coming through the floor, it does make it a little bit awkward. The boys have built themselves a platform, which is always the right thing to do. If you can get a sheet of whatever you've got lying around and lay it across the joist, your knees will thank you for it. It's really common for builders, floor layers, plumbers, electricians to end up with something called housemaid's knee or water on the knee. What that sheet of wood will do is make it easy. It'll give your knees a break, give you somewhere to rest, and it's also really nice to hold the tools as well. Hi! So I've just jumped to site to see how all the boys have been doing, and they've been doing a bloody great job. So thank you very much, boys, but let's go and annoy them while they're working, because I know they absolutely love it when I go and annoy them with the camera. So let's have a wander around and see what everyone's doing. Here's one right there. The boys love it. How are you doing, Mark?
Very well, thank you.
Good, yeah. There we go. Here's another one. Hey!
Absolutely.
Back downstairs. We're just coming to have a look at your lovely floor.
Go for it, it's all over.
Oh, look how much you can see. Doesn't that look great? How did that go?
Easy.
Yeah?
Not better than the first time we did it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's all taped up, airtight. Just check the floor now.
Cool. Can't wait to get copyrighted because we've got a whole bunch of
Absolute radio.
Hey Mark, how your sweets going?
Very nice.
I actually, like, last week, the amount of just fizzy drinks we had in a day, I actually felt my teeth rotting. So bad.
Luckily you're beautiful as you are, guy.
Well, thank you.
The old plastic door you can see out there is going back in that hole.
Yeah.
We've got about 10 mils from the bottom to the top, and that the brick closest to that wall down there,
Yeah.
that one is low. So you can probably keep the left hand side in as we're looking in it, but that right one there's got to come up because it's about 5 mil low. But we just don't, I'm not sure if we've got any muck on site.
We should, hopefully we have, because we've got to do the lintel.
Oh yeah, cool. Right, who else can I annoy? Toby loves it, doesn't he? Let's go and see what Toby's doing. Password? Payday on Thursday, Toby. That's my password. Access granted. What? Payday Thursday?
There we go.
How are you, Toby?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, right. What have you done to your face?
Marv.
Marv.
Let's have another look at this now. Well, it was a beautiful punch, bang on the chimney.
Some say he's wanted by the CIA and that he sleeps upside down like a bat.
Marv.
He actually did a summer.
Did he?
On Friday. Yeah, dropped a shelf on me. Corner of an MDF, went right on the forehead.
Be that tickled?
Yeah, I did. Marv offered to kiss it, but I said no.
No surprises there. How's the guttering going?
It's going well. Pooling in that middle, so I need to change it.
Why is it pooling there?
No idea.
Where's your level?
Over behind.
How are you, Jaden?
I'm alright.
Did you have a nice weekend?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Yes.
Look at that, it's falling away towards this, but somewhere it must be falling the other way. Or the level's broken, but it's a DeWalt level, so it won't be. Well, there's your problem there, boys.
Oh, yeah.
That one needs to come up. What's this one like?
That feels alright.
Nah, bro.
Mondays.
Thinking face.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help Toby with this. See you boys in a bit. Poor old Toby has been victim of old house syndrome. What I mean by old house syndrome is he's run with the bottom of the fascia, but the fascia was put on to run with the bottom of the rafters, and the rafters are 150 years old. They're not quite that old, but you know what I mean. So he's run with the bottom of the fascia using a square, dropping his fall down on his square, which if the fascias were installed level, would be a perfect way of doing it, really efficient, really smooth, great idea. The challenge that we've got though is that the fascias aren't level, so Toby's having to tuck up high at one end and then work out his drainage flow so that we hit the drain at the left hand side, almost like right behind where Jaden's standing. That'll give us flowing away from here towards the left, down to the drains, and then we won't have any ponds forming in our gutters. So, that's what the boys are doing. Get under here before I get wet. Cal, what are you doing? Cal's not here. Let's go and see Max. Max wants, oh my God. Max wants all the boys to be on camera, but doesn't like being on camera himself. There he is!
Hello.
What's going on? What are you doing?
Dampening down the wall ready for the line.
But yeah, that's dry, isn't it?
Yeah, it clears the dust out as well.
Cool.
Nothing sticks to dust.
So you can see up there, Max. You can zoom in on that bit.
Up there.
There's loads of like low spots and high spots.
In here as well.
Whoa, easy, Tiger.
Holes in the wall that'll get built out. Just wax them in there. Especially up here, that.
Yeah.
Make it nice and flush. Makes it easier.
It's got to be flat, hence why Cal's putting the little lime render coat on it. We're using lime on this one because it needs to breathe, because this is a retrofit project, and we put airtight membranes where we need airtight membranes, and we put breathable stuff where we need breathable stuff, so the house can breathe and be airtight at the same time.
And we can breathe out.
Look, it's been a general theme of this build that the brickwork has been pretty poor at best. So Mark and Guy are on the almost directly in front of where Toby is outside. What they're doing here is getting the brickwork patched in, or toothed in as it's most commonly called, to build up the edges, because we need to put a lintel above this window because there just isn't one, which is really weird to think that someone would build something without a lintel in it, but we're going to put one in. So the process for that is the guys have got to remove enough brickwork so we can get the lintel in, build up the sides so it's nice and stable, and then we can level off and install a concrete lintel and then muck around it to make sure that the brickwork that is there is adequately supported by a new sand and cement mix.
Going, guys, we've basically just taken all this brickwork out, which is an absolute shoddy work from whoever was here before. Ready to get this window out, put a new one in tomorrow. All the bay windows coming out, all this office windows coming out, all the new windows going in. Got to get them out and in one day.
Some of you may be wondering why you can fit your hand all the way through the edge here. So, as we've discussed, this house is being retrofitted with a whole bunch of insulation. And the challenge that we've got here is, if we had have made the window the same size as what it was, you can imagine the insulation here, which is about that thick, it needs to run into the edge of the window. If that was over, it pulls all of this over, which means that we would have done that and returned our, by the time our plasterboard and everything went on, we would have actually been on the window instead of on the frame. So Pete's ordered it so that we've got a relatively even gap all the way around it, and then that'll all get foamed in and trimmed from the outside, and then our insulation will run round, it'll turn the corner and then run into where this is, and then down the bottom is, you know, your standard window sill, which will cut out here. And then there's, on this particular, because we are really tight on here, on our distance this way, we can't bring this wall out too much with insulation, so this is getting insulated plasterboard, and then that'll go straight onto the brickwork. That's why all of this is sitting with daylight all around it. Normally we order them way tighter than that, but that is just the way things have gone. In this room here, Toby and Jaden are doing the same thing here. This is what it looks like in the next step. Toby's put some timber packers in here in order to give them something solid to screw through, and then we've foamed up there so that when the insulation comes, again, it comes into the window as opposed to into the glass. So this is the next step in order to create some more weatherproofing, and that happens all the way around it. And then same thing here, old house, timber sill goes straight on there. All of this is getting the treatment. Nice job, Jaden. Jaden loves the camera.
As you can see, guys, took the old window out, had a little bit of issues. The old brickwork came out with it. Nothing, my mate Matt here. On the tools for a change.
I just want it on video that I actually every now and then do some work.
So Matt on tools with Mark and Guy, just going to brick this up, let it go off a little bit, and then we'll try and get the bay windows in today.
So, what we've been doing in here is now that we've got all the brickwork finished that fell out when we took that out, we've had to cut the sill. So we built a little cardboard template around here so that we can work out exactly where everything's going to sit. We've given ourselves a little bit of tolerance because this is getting fixed down and we need to just dummy fit everything to make sure it all works. So this brickwork here is out of level on the top because we didn't need to rebuild that. So Mark's just going to pack this sill out so that when we screw down into it, it's nice and level all the way around. And then, because yeah, you can see if we sit it on the natural brickwork, it's miles out. So we're going to pack up the end of that sill so that it sits, oh my goodness, that's quite a long way. And then what we'll do is once we've got that packed where we need to, we'll muck in that joint with the muck. And then that'll give it a nice stable platform to sit on. But for the minute, that'll get us where we need. And then that'll should make that still nice and plump. And then we need to pack up this corner over here just a little bit, because as you can see there, it's just sitting outside of what we'd call plumb, although that's not too far away, but I did that brickwork so I wouldn't trust it. So that's what we're doing now. From there I want to test fit the 3 leaves to make sure that they're all going to sit where we think they are on the top, because we haven't done any work on the top yet. So we'll test fit those and then go again. With the downstairs bay window complete, done, just waiting on trims on the outside, let's jump upstairs and hook into that one. So it might seem like a long time ago since we were talking about the boarding being finished, ready for plaster. This has kind of been happening at the same time while we've been downstairs doing windows and brickwork and floors and everything like that. But here's Lee going through the process to plaster a loft. Step 1. Because this is all new plasterboard, we don't need to PVA glue it. If this was an existing house, you have to put a layer of PVA glue on. That stops the plastic A going off too quick, but also helps it bond to the walls. But we're new plaster, so we can put the beads on first. Now the beads go on the external edges. They're like an aluminium or a metal profile. You can get them in plastic as well. And that's clout nailed into the plasterboard. And that gives us a really nice, crisp, straight edge on all the external corners, like the one you can see by the door lining where the steels are poking out a little bit. From there, Lee's able to put the scrim tape on. Now, scrim tape is a fiber tape, which is sticky on one side. That goes over all of the joins to help stop or prevent cracking. It builds up some strength across the joint because that's the weakest part. From there, Lee applies 2 coats of about 2 mil plaster. It's a gypsum base multi-finish plaster. Now Lee's about to pull out a tool which is a little bit controversial in the plastering world. It's called a speed skim. What it is like a, you can buy them in 6 or 9 or 1200 mil. Sometimes I think you could even get 1800 mil long trowels essentially. They're called speed skims. He's going to use that on the ceiling because you always do the ceiling first. Now plastering is all about timing. Too fast
you'll pull the plaster around. Too slow, the plaster will go off and then you won't be able to do anything with it. Once it's all applied, he then polishes by trowel to get our paintable finish. With the ceiling done, he can then move on to the walls, and you work in opposites so that you've got a nice hard corner to push against. That's what it's all about, opposites. You can corner trowel it, but in this example he's not having to. Thanks a lot, Lee. Done a great job, looks awesome.
Welcome guys, another busy day. Lots of windows gone in today. As you can see, first one back here in one of the bedrooms, all in, tidy, sorted. New sill going to go on there tomorrow. Come on through, little hallway window. That was a little bit of a bugger because we've had to put 2 new lintels in because all the brickwork was knackered from the old guys. Got it all in, secured, foamed up, ready to trim with insulation. Then we move on to bay windows. As you can see, we've all got them in. Bit of a gap down the sides, nothing we can't fix. We'll get that all foamed up in the morning, trimmed up, ready, and then we can start getting the radiator off on Thursday, getting all the insulation on the walls. What we'll do is just shut it up now before someone forgets. Move on up. Plastering, lead we've had in again today. It's been smashing through the plastering. Got all of upstairs now sorted, so we're all in the hallway. Now I've got this top room all done, so I just need to wait for it to dry out, ready for the decorators now, and second fix carpentry. We should be able to jump on that probably Thursday or Friday. Get that all wrapped up. Come on back down. Guys are still here tidying at the moment. Get a big reset ready for the morning. And there we go guys, another window in. Got some lovely Christmas decoration down the sides. But as you can see, all in, good to go. Getting ready for tomorrow. Cheers.
Morning! Day 13. Let's go!
Right, ready, Jaden? You know what you're saying? You know what you're saying?
Go on, Jaden, do it.
Go on. Alright, day 13. Good morning from me and Cal.
Morning.
Here he is. Right, we've got windows in. There we go. Bay windows are all in. Ready to go. Jaden's just prepping them for some trims. Cal's just cleaning up some brickwork from where he done the lintel in yesterday. We've got the boys in plastering the kitchen, and Mark and Guy are making some rockets down there. There it is, boarding the ceiling. Done.
Basically what we're doing here is we're putting a layer of adhesive on the back of this wood fibre OSB, sticking it onto this brickwork which has been lime rendered for some air tightness, to get some airflow through it as well.
For air tightness and from airflow.
Yeah, the lime render's breathable though, isn't it?
I don't know, bud.
Basically all the way along here, and then we'll batten and plasterboard it.
Because the brickwork was so far out downstairs, we're having a bit of a game. So we'll put the parge coat on, that brought some of it out, but there's still areas where the walls aren't exactly plumb. So what Mark and Guy have done is pack the battens out more so that we can put 10 mil in the parge coat, and then we can have our OSB insulation, and then we can put another 10 mil packer, level that all down, and at least then the plasterboard is going to be plumb vertically, instead of running with the brickwork, which would have meant that it would have been miles out. So the battens go on, and then it's a similar process to what you saw in the loft, where we can now start plasterboarding, as well as we've got an airtight membrane to go above the bay window before that can get plasterboarded, and then she's all starting to come together. Lee's finished up top in the loft, so we've got another space ready for him. Cal, you would have seen in last episodes, come along with the hard wall and got all the hard wall and all of the chasers that the Sparkies and everyone needed. So now, like upstairs, Lee can start the ceiling first, do 2 coats on that, then hit the walls, move his way around, and then we have a plaster kitchen ready for a new kitchen install.
film.
And here he is, look, finished for the day, look, packing his tools up, loving life, and doing a runner. Well, I've got old Jaden here cutting some batten, look, doing a bit of trimming up. Guys looking happy as always. Ready. Bit of brickwork had to go on, sorting the trims around the windows, just trimming it up, making it look pretty. It's all gone off now, which is gone solid, which is ideal. Just another couple of trims on the sides to tidy it all up.
What are you doing, Toby?
Looking for some Insta-Stick, which Jade's gonna get me.
This is my magic power.
I'm trying to stick 35mm under there, hide the foam gap. I had to pack out that sill by quite a lot when I was levelling it off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find something to cover it.
Can we not muck it in?
We could muck it in. I think mucking in might be the better option.
I reckon mucking it in is going to be way better, bro.
To marry up with my mitre, well, it just doesn't work.
Nah, muck it in, bro. Yeah, muck it in.
I've only done this because, well, next door they've done a silicone bead.
Yeah.
Down there, they've done a trim, but the lead's a lot better. Down on the far end.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, but because we've got a rounded edge here and it's just so out of level.
Yeah, no, if you muck that in, bro, you'll get a lovely, nice, nice flat sponge it.
Nice little fillet.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Save me a job. The only thing we don't know is what we're going to do up there just yet.
Yep.
That's tomorrow morning. Well, I've already worked it out now, but I'm literally trying to get up there and it's getting to the end of the day and my back hurts. It's awkward. It's an awkward height. You've got to lie like that to get them in.
Oh, lie on the scaff up there.
So what I'm going to do is get a bit of basically run those battens. Need to screw that in a bit there. Sorry about that. That is the same light as that. So we're going to run soffit into that, pin it, glue it, and then do the top bit over there. So it'd be like a box end.
What, like an angle over top of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works, doesn't it?
I've got my test piece here. You make it a bit longer, but that'll be scribed into that brickwork there. So it'll be like.
Oh yeah, nice. Because look, you scribe. Oh yeah, so you're going to chamfer that back on that back corner.
Yeah, all the way along basically.
Yeah.
I didn't even use the tape. I just kind of looked at it and worked it out.
I wonder if it'd be easier just to get a cap, like a soffit capping board.
Yeah, what, like that?
Like this.
Yeah.
Instead of a full replacement board, just get a. Yeah, but you can get a. So this is a full replacement board, which is 18mm thick. You can get a cover, which is I think about 7 or 8.
Right.
Which will probably sit really nicely under that little lip right there.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do is do your soffit.
Yeah.
And then just cut your capping board to whatever your length is, and then the two will butt together.
That's what we want.
Let's do that, eh? See you later, Toby.
See you later.
The plaster's had a couple of days to dry, and it's been really hot down in Exeter, so that's really helped. We can now get on to things like fitting the windowsill, trimming the window from the outside before the scaffold comes down, putting the door on, getting the skirting on. It is absolutely starting to take shape now. We're on the journey towards painting. It starts to come together as a room now, and it gets really exciting.
Good morning. It is. What time is it? 7:35. Saturday morning. We are laying a floor. And we need a chalk line. There it is. Bash. This floor is being laid in here. Glue down, LVT. I've just been figuring out the bond. The kitchen going in there, and the kitchen going in there. All we're going to do is string line a line, come off that wall, string line a line, work from that wall, all the way to that wall. Hopefully bash it out today. Get it down before lunch. Bash. So what we've done is we've come off that wall, 40mm, and down here we've done the same. We've chalked a line all the way along, And then we've got this glue, which has to be laid down with a, we've got a 3mm trowel here. And this is the flooring. It'll go down, hopefully quickly. We'll show you what it's like when a few of them are down. As you can see, halfway there, just making sure it's all clean, all glued down nicely. Only an hour. An hour. So we've got to the fun part, where you've got about 400mm to stand on stand the glue, and this takes 12 hours until you can have foot traffic on it. Next one. Not yet. Stop following you melt.
So now, on our journey to finishing, let's start off with the trims on the outside and go from there. How these trims are installed is by using a glue on the back side of the plastic. This is a really awkward little detail because it's where the plastic windows meets the brick. We want to try and make it look good, but as you can see, the bay windows are hitting into the brick in a really peculiar angle. So between a mixture of Insta-Stick foam, glue, whole bunch of patience, they all go on, and I think it actually looks quite tidy. One of the general themes you'll pick up throughout this video is there's lots of little areas. We've got the hallway that needs to be plastered. Lee's doing evenings for us, so that means we can get a whole bunch of work done during the day. Because if he was plastering in this area during the day, no one else would be able to get anywhere in the top floor, and that doesn't work. So he's going to come in, prep the area here. This is slightly different than what it is when you're on fresh plasterboard, because you have to PVA the walls and let that soak into it. Otherwise, your plaster won't bond to the existing walls of the house. So he's done the front bedroom, now he's up into here, and I'm pretty sure he's only got a couple of little bits left.
What are you up to, Toe?
Trying to fit a door. Trying to fit the old door anyway.
There we go.
All fun and games.
It's going back in that hole. It's a bit snug, but we'll get it in.
Now this door was really tight and it was being reused from the old house. So there was a bit of finoodling, a bit of finagling. So the boys probably had to put it in about 4 or 5 times, a bunch of adjustments on the brickwork and then a shave here and a push there. And before you know it, it's in the hole. Thank goodness for that. Step number 1 is for us to get a leveling compound down where the 2 floors meet. Now last week, Sammy built the floor in the utility and raised that all up. The old floor in the dining room isn't perfectly flat. So before we do that, we have to put a leveling compound down where the 2 floors meet, so that that transition between the utility into the dining room is nice and smooth. The leveling compound, again, is a mix it up in a bucket and then trowel it on the floor. You can feather it out really smooth as it goes towards the middle of the dining room. We need it to be smooth because this laminate floor is being glued down and it's not very thick, so it won't hide very much. Before Josh starts laying the floor, we have to work out the bond. Now what's a bond, James? Bond. What a bond is a thickness or the depth of the planks that you're putting down across the width of the entire room. Now it's important that you get the bond right when you're traveling between, in our case, the hallway into the dining room. Otherwise you could end up with a tiny little cut right on the edge, which is going to be A, not stable enough when you glue it down, and B, it's going to look pretty stink. So Josh is laying out in the hallway first, because that's the most awkward bit, and then he'll space those tiles in the hallway in order to make the edge in the dining room look way better. Once he's got his bond sorted, he can then simply trail the glue onto the floor and then push the floor onto the glue. Simple process.
Hey, that's my line.
I'm really sorry about what you're about to see next.
One LVT floor. Kind of, nearly done.
For anyone who's ever laid a floor or tiles or any type of blocks or bricks, one thing you'll note is that some areas go really quickly and some areas don't. You can lay a huge volume of flooring really quickly, as long as you're in a big room. As soon as you get into the fiddly bits, it slows down massively. Now that Josh has got the floor down over the majority of that room and he's mucking around with the fiddly bits, we've got to get started outside. What the boys are doing is bringing in some of the external insulation for the back wall. We've got to start thinking about now in order to get us to this 4-week challenge that we've got to get through. So Josh is going to keep laying the floor, the insulation's been bored in, and we're going to carry that out the back and then start fixing that.
Nearly there, nearly there. Do you like Sammy? I love Sammy.
Meanwhile, on the other side of that wall, our lovely kitchen has started to go in. Fitting a kitchen is always one of the most exciting parts of any project. Now we've got our mate Rowan Roberts. He's coming in to fit this for us because we were a bit tight on men. He does a really good job, and well, fitting a kitchen is a bit of an art. So you can see there the green line, that's his laser setup, and similar to what Sammy did when he was building the floor last week, we're going to use that as our datum. That's going to give us a level line all the way around the room for us to adjust the feet of the base units to get it all so that it's all going to be nice, level and flat. Once he's done one side, Rowan then moves on to the other side using the same level line. That's going to mean that both sides of the worktop, because this is a galley style kitchen, both sides of them are going to be exactly the same height. With Rowan taking up all the space on pretty much most of the ground floor, the boys have jumped back upstairs. Hey Josh.
Hello.
You're old.
I know, mate, innit? 40. Look 40.
You don't look a day over 39, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, g'day. Just calling about your protective film. Oh, no, that's right. We'll just peel it off and take half the plaster with us. Awesome. Two things about that clip. First thing, it was Josh's birthday. Happy birthday, Josh.
Okay, birthday boy. It's okay, birthday.
Second thing, the protective film gets put on windows to protect it. But when you're working towards the finish, there comes a time where you have to stop protecting it because it's the finish. If you don't take the protective film off, you're relying on the sticky part of the film to hold the plaster to the window. What we should have done here is we should have removed the film first. So now the boys are going to have to pull it all off after making a cut, and it will hold, but they've got more work to do on it, which really makes me annoyed because it takes 10 seconds to take it off. Anyway, rant over. Moving on.
Morning, Toby. What are you up to today?
I am plastering in there. Plastering this wall, as you can see, and up there, where we've had to take off the original cladding and re-insulate it and plaster all up.
Well done, Tobes. Enjoy.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how enjoyable plastering is, but Toby's pretty good at it, so he normally gets lumped with it. So we only had a little bit to do in this room, which was around the door that we put in and on top of the door going from this space into the dining room. Hello Toby!
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Not bad, how are you?
Good, are you having a lovely time?
I'm having a lovely time.
Lovely!
You having a lovely time?
I'm having a lovely time.
Lovely.
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 Lovely! Now that the boys are having such a lovely time, Toby's got to finish off the plastering in a few areas. He's got the utility to do, as well as the little landing up by the stairs, and he's got to finish off where Lee finished last night.
I am picking up where Lee left off. Do a little skimming.
Yeah, a little bit of skimming. Lee didn't get done last night, so he's got a little bit in here. Then we just got a little bit on the ceiling, guys. A little bit down the reveal. Once that's done, that's all the skimming upstairs done. A couple of little reveals to get done downstairs as well. Josh is on the sills, so that sill will be going in today. So with these, what we'll do is pop down and see him, see what he's up to.
So while Josh has finished cleaning off the floor and laying the last boards, out the front we're finally getting rid of this massive skip that's been parked out on the front of the road. Now because we're getting towards the end of the project, we don't need a skip anymore, which is always a great sign. We're going to start the retrofit process on the back of this wall. Now what's retrofit? Retrofit is an insulation on the external of the brickwork of the building. Now why do you put it on the external? Well, quite simply in order to give us enough space inside. Now these houses aren't massive, but we need them to be warm. Instead of shrinking the walls down on the internal, so that means you have to remove things like showers and toilets because you need to make the wall thicker, we're going to put the insulation on the outside and then render over it. The first step Cal's got to get done here is he's got to get this lime coat on. Now the lime coat, similar to inside, is to flatten out all of that brickwork, some of it which isn't great as we saw in the last episode. This gives us a flat surface in order to be able to fix our insulation to and prevent any air from being trapped in behind the insulation.
Alright, so
It's got a consistency.
me and Toby are out here doing some lovely lime work, rendering. We've got Alberto here, aka Pablo, mixing up some, well, what is supposed to be some lime for us. But we don't know what he's done wrong. It's going to as he recalls it, yes, technical issues. But this has gone past technical. Maybe that'll be good for tomorrow, we'll see. What's the technical issues we're having?
No, look at the boys are doing a great job. I mean, you can just see the quality here. I mean, look at that. It's in there, mate. What else are you guys doing today?
Finish off this lime render, get it off nice and flat, float it, sponge it up.
Float it? Are you floating it with a magnesium floater?
You'll pick up on a general theme with building products. The process for doing the lime render is to mix it up with a power whisk in a bucket, let it settle so that all the air bubbles come out. It then gets transferred onto a hawk, which is the thing that you hold in one hand, and then you can use the hawk and the trowel together in order to apply it to the building. Well, once it's applied to the building, you can then go along and trowel it so that it's flat, and then, as Cal says, float it, which means you take a float and you flatten the whole surface out using circular motions.
With a magnesium floater?
Right then, what are we doing, Toby? We are putting these... we're putting
these fancy bell
casts down at the bottom of the wall. Look at this.
That will hold our insulated board.
Insulated boarding.
Insulated board.
And if you come up to your ladder. And we've done it up here. And this one we've had to follow down the wall. We've got these. How's that going, Toby?
Absolutely lovely. I love this system so much.
It's a new one for us. Never done it before.
Shut your mouth.
That's what. This is what Josh thinks of all the noise.
Shut the up.
Don't mean to scare you guys, but Christmas is almost upon us. We have noticed that the boys' language has been going from bad to really bad to absolutely horrendous. So what we're gonna do is every time Max has to put in a and you guys watch it, we're going to donate £1 to the Exeter Food Bank. Now, if you guys want to do the same thing, we're going to leave a link down in the description. It's a nice way to give back. I'm sorry about all the swearing. It's getting worse. We do have a team meeting on Friday, and that is going to be one of the things we are going to talk about. The reason why we've installed those metal beads at the bottom is that it's going to be a support for the next step, which is the installation of our insulation. It's funny how the word insulation. Anyway, the stuff that keeps the house warm is fixed to the building using an SDS drill, a 6mm bit, and then those thermally insulated screws that you would have seen us use in the last episode. This product is a tongue and groove product, so you start at the bottom, fix it in, and then you can lay it up so that the grooves meet into the tongues.
Here we have the apprentice getting his certificate in learning to climb a ladder. 4 points of contact the whole way up, okay?
4 points of contact the whole way up, okay?
0. Here we have Fireman Sam.
Once all the insulation's fixed, it's now time to put a elasticated metal lathing, which is like a mesh that goes on the outside of the OSB of the insulation in order to accept and adhere to the next layer of render. It would be really nice if I was able to show you some footage of this, but unfortunately we don't have it.
Good morning. So the past couple of days we have been putting this base coat of render on. The plan today was to top coat it, but as you can see the weather has not allowed us to do that. So we got to hold it off for a day or so, hoping the rain will go away. If not, we're gonna have to rig some sort of tarpaulin up to cover it. I'm thinking from the roof, folding down over the scaffold, but we shall see.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to cover up like what Cal says, so what we've done is we've just jumped inside. The weather forecast for tomorrow is looking way better, so we're just going to hold off one day. It puts a bit of pressure on time frames, but it's only one day. Meanwhile, the guys from Teen Deck have arrived. They're going to start doing the prep for the painting. What we like to do is get something called a mist coat on. Now what that is that's like a diluted paint that goes on to bare plaster. It's really important. It's probably the most important step because it adheres into the new plaster. It has more water in it than what it does paint, so it kind of soaks in. That creates a bond between the next layer of paint and the new plaster. Once you've got that on, it's sand, paint, sand, paint. With the boys upstairs cracking on with the painting, we've finally got a break in that weather, and look, the time pressure's on. We've got to get this stuff on. We're hoping, fingers crossed, toes crossed, knees crossed, legs crossed, hoping to get a break in the weather for long enough for this time to go off. So, the final coat has a tint in it. The tint in this case is a blue colour, chosen by the client, goes into a bucket, gets mixed up, and then hawk and trowel, just like we were doing with plaster, floated. It's gonna look lovely.
Lovely blue.
I'm blue, da ba dee da ba.
Here we can see our latest avatar. He's busy cracking on with his little mate Cal.
Balls are getting replaced.
Yeah, the rendering avatar.
In the sunshine, shirtless blue avatars.
Yeah, lovely weather for it now.
What we do, we become Smurfs. Get on. Teamwork makes the dream work, boys and girls. So yeah, poor old Cal had a good go earlier. And then out of nowhere, we had a massive thunderstorm, which then got some of the bottom all washed off. Said, Bit of a bummer, but these things happen. Now look at the weather, beautiful sunshine.
With the boys outside fixing Mother Nature's little ha 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 at you at the bottom of the render, let's jump inside and have a look at the carpets. It ties everything together. We're really lucky. We've got a company we've worked with for ages called Salton Mills. They look after all of our carpets. They're going to come and fit out the whole house. They're starting in this front room. Process, gripper rods. Gripper rods are nasty. They're like the wasp of the building world. Gripper rods get hit down with a nail into the floorboards underneath. Once they're in, you can then cut your insulation or your underlay around the gripper rods. Once that's all done, you can then bring the carpet in, roughly cut. You can trim the edges, and then it's a case of using a really funky little tool which you bash with your knee. That stretches the carpet out onto the gripper rods. As it retracts in, it uses the gripper rods to hold tight. Now, like I said, we've got the whole house to do. The boys are going to break it off into sections. Some of it goes really quickly, some of it takes ages. Have a guess which bit takes ages. With the stairs all done, we finish off with the loft. Obviously the biggest, easiest space for the guys to do. It looks great. It is the finish of the finish. The paint's on, the lights are in, the carpet's down. Holy moly. Before we show you what the end looks like, there's a few people that I just want to say thank you to. First of all, to the boys and girls of Silver Fern, thank you so much for all your hard work. I know it was hard, but we got through it. To all of you guys at home that have watched us throughout this whole thing, thank you very much. It does mean a lot to us. To all of our wonderful subcontractors, the electricians, Rowan the kitchen fitter, Teen Deck for doing the painting, Lee Marks, both the roofer and Lee Marks the plasterer, Josh Glenn Roofing for getting us sorted. Scaffolders, can't forget the scaffolders. Without you, we literally can't do anything. But thank you guys for all your hard work. It's been a wicked journey. We're really excited. It's just come together so well. Pete's done a wicked job of doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Donna to get this whole thing planned, and to our lovely clients, thank you very, very much for choosing us. The amount of people that you guys have helped put food on their table, we really appreciate it. So, with that being said, let's come and have a look around.